Hello friends! You're on the Last Days channel. Thank you so much for your engagement and support. And so, a review of events for July 18th. Argentina and Chile. A strong 6.6 magnitude earthquake shook Argentina and was felt in several areas of Chile. The U.S. Geological Survey reported that the earthquake struck at 23:05 local time with an epicenter 25 kilometers east of Lencapo, Argentina, at a depth of 171 kilometers. No casualties or property damage have been reported to date. There was no tsunami warning. Residents of Valparaiso and Los Lagos reported that the earthquake in these Chilean regions was strong. Recall that this Sunday an earthquake with a magnitude of 7.2 was also registered in Alaska. Pennsylvania. A freight train carrying silicone pellets derailed in the southeastern U.S. state of Pennsylvania. This was reported by the police department of the White Marsh municipality on Monday. Residents and employees of businesses in the vicinity of the scene were evacuated. The police emphasized that the said measure was precautionary in nature. However, it is noted that no one was injured as a result of the incident and there is no threat to the public. The scattered pellets are not dangerous. The police did not specify the reasons for the incident. Western Australia. On the beach of the state of Western Australia was found a strange object resembling a huge fragment of a barrel. The state police said that until the end of the investigation the object is considered dangerous and forbade people to approach it until the belonging of the object is not clear. It is noted only that it is definitely not a part of a passenger plane. The size of the object is about 2 meters. Apparently, it has undergone a long journey through the ocean, as it is corroded and covered with mollusks. Mexico. A 6.5 magnitude earthquake has struck Mexico. The earthquake occurred at 3:30 a.m. local time. The epicenter was in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Chiapas state. The tremors occurred at a depth of about 10 kilometers. Residents of the region characterized the tremors as short-term and relatively weak. The earthquake was also felt in the state of Oaxaca and in Guatemala. 3 aftershocks were later recorded with a maximum magnitude of 4.2 BA. No casualties or damage were reported. Puerto Rico. A tornado has struck the Caribbean island of Puerto Rico, lifting debris hundreds of meters into the air. Video captured at the time of the incident shows the tornado covering the landscape with debris. The brief tornado occurred around 3:10 in the afternoon local time and caused damage to some wooden houses and many trees. At this point, the president of Puerto Rico said that the Department of Public Safety's fire department personnel are in the area because there are power lines on the ground. In addition, Aguada municipal police officers have also arrived to deal with the situation. Poland. On the night of Monday, July 17th, an airplane crash occurred in Poland. A light-engine airplane, which is usually used to lift parachutists into the air, crashed into a hangar in the village of Harcino near Warsaw. There were 3 pilots on board, one of whom was killed, 1 injured, and 1 uninjured. There were 10 people in the hangar on which the airplane fell, 5 people died, and the rest were injured. According to rescuers, 14 people were injured in the airplane crash, 5 were killed, 5 were injured, and 4 were unhurt. The cause of the crash could have been unfavorable weather conditions, which could have caused the plane to veer off course. The General Directorate of the National Fire Service has reported the incident and is investigating. Canada. A strong tornado struck South Ottawa, Canada, damaging 125 homes and injuring one person. No fatalities have been reported after the tornado, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. The tornado originated in Barraven, part of South Ottawa, and caused power outages to 1,600 homes. Windows were broken, trees fell, and roofs were damaged. Roads were also damaged. About 400,000 people were affected by power outages due to the tornado outbreak. Authorities said there was no serious damage to property and infrastructure. Japan. Japanese volcano Sakurajima woke up after 6 months and threw a table of ash into the sky. Local media publishes footage of the eruption. There is no information about the destruction or casualties. The previous activity of Sakurajima occurred on February 8. Then the volcano spewed ash and smoke to a height of about 1,000 meters. It was the first eruption in the last 5 years. Sakurajima is one of the most active volcanoes in Japan. In total, there are about 200 volcanoes in the country, 40 of which are active. Earlier it was reported that on the Icelandic peninsula Reykjanes appeared the youngest volcano of the earth in the rock. A fissure appeared, from where fountains of lava erupt. This event is associated with the eruption of the lava field Fagradalsfjall lying under the peninsula. Ekaterinburg. A strong thunderstorm with downpours has come to Ekaterinburg, about which the Ministry of Emergency Situations warned earlier. Citizens publish in social networks photos of the elements. Heavy rain is in all districts of Ekaterinburg. Hurricane wind blew the roof off a multi-story building. A strong thunderstorm will last tentatively until 22 hours. The Sverdlovsk Region Emergencies Department reports. China. An extreme heat wave has begun in northwest China, in the town of Sanbao, which is located in the Turpan Basin of Xinjiang. On Monday, the temperature rose to a record plus 52 degrees Celsius according to meteorologists' forecasts. Because of this debilitating weather, which will persist for the next 5 days, citizens are being asked to be careful. Employers have been urged to limit outdoor work. China is facing a series of climatic disasters this year, caused by heavy rains and heat waves that are breaking record after record. Much of Europe, North and Central America are also suffering from record heat waves. Philippines. Several areas in Valenzuela and Malabon were affected by flooding caused by prolonged heavy rains since Saturday morning. City authorities have taken measures to evacuate residents from flooded areas. In Valenzuela, residents of Barangay Viente Reales were temporarily evacuated until noon on Saturday but were allowed to return after a few hours. In other areas like Barangay Arcong Bato and Barangay Balancas, residents were not called to evacuate, but some families were forced to leave their homes. Although water levels have started to drop in some areas, authorities continue to monitor the situation and advise residents to remain vigilant and ready to evacuate if necessary. Abakan. Abakan continues to eliminate the consequences of the hurricane that swept through the city a few days ago. Specialists of public utilities are working around the clock to ensure the safety of citizens and to free the city roads from branches and broken trees. At the moment, most of the city has already been cleared, but there is still work to be done in some areas. In order to speed up the process, the mayor's office of the capital of Khakassia decided to organize a citywide Sabotnik, which will be held this Wednesday, July 19th. The coordinators of the Sabotnik will be the headman and the Department of Public Utilities and Transportation. The mayor of Abakan called on all residents of the city to join the cleanup and help the city services to put the city in order. Turkey. In Turkey there is a large-scale forest fire, which emergency services are unable to extinguish. Aviation has flown in to help, but the fire continues to spread. Abnormal heat and windy weather only aggravate the situation. The fires have engulfed almost the entire south of the country, and the temperature in some areas reaches plus 45 degrees Celsius. Not far from the resort areas of Turkey, fire after fire is not being put out in time. Unfortunately, it is possible that the cause of the fire was arson. The situation is also complicated in the Canary Islands, where because of the smoke it is impossible to breathe and has already burned almost 5,000 hectares of forest. More than 4,000 people have been evacuated, and aviation continues to extinguish the fire. However, the fire continues to capture new territories. Stavropol Territory. Downpour, hail and thunderstorms in the Stavropol Territory. In the regional capital there was a powerful downpour in the southwestern part of the city. Hail was also observed. Photos and video of the natural phenomenon were shared by local residents in social networks. According to the forecast of the Stavropol Hydrometeorological Center, during the day there will be precipitation in some areas of the region. Pea-sized hail fell in several parts of the city, including on Kolakova Avenue. It hindered the movement of drivers as visibility deteriorated. Locals tried to find shelter and hide near their entrances. Some covered their cars to prevent the precipitation from damaging them. In some places, the downpour caused flooding of roads and yards. China. Typhoon Talim has hit the southern Chinese province of Guangdong. Several communities in southern China have strengthened emergency response systems, suspending train, airline and ship traffic, as well as businesses and schools, to prepare for tropical storm Talim. The typhoon is expected to bring strong winds and heavy rains to southern China's Hainan, Guangdong and Yunnan provinces, as well as the Guangxi-Zhuang Autonomous Region and the Hong Kong and Macau Special Administrative Regions. Turbulent waves up to 9 meters high are also expected. About 18,000 people have been evacuated from Weizhou Island, with all shipping transportation suspended since Tuesday. The city in Guangdong province closed all tourist attractions and public beauties. In the city center, more than 20,000 tourists returned to shore from cruise ships in Xinjiang, Guangdong province. Irkutsk region. A hurricane with hail and heavy downpour swept through the Irkutsk region. There was an emergency power outage in 12 settlements and 3 districts of the region. 2,496 residential houses and 18 socially important objects were cut off. The single-duty dispatch service of Tuluan received information about localized power outages in the residential sector. Trees bent in half from the storm that hit Tuluan. According to eyewitnesses, large hail fell in the city and beat beds. Now power engineers continue to work on identifying emergency sections of power lines. Road services are cleaning up from fallen trees and branches. There are no casualties. According to meteorologists' forecasts, July 18, heavy and very heavy rains, Thunderstorms, hail and gusts of northwest wind up to 25 meters per second are expected in some places in the region. Japan. Heavy rains that hit Akita Prefecture in northeastern Japan over the weekend left at least one person dead. More than 2,000 residents were evacuated on farmland. In the town of Guangdong, a man was found in a flooded car around 7 a.m. Sunday. As of Tuesday morning, about 2,000 people had been moved to 77 evacuation centers. The land self-defense forces have been called in for disaster relief because of the landslides. The Japan Meteorological Agency urged residents to beware of landslides, flooding in low-lying areas and river overflows. Australia. Australian Tim Shattuck and his dog Bella were rescued after drifting in the open sea for almost 3 months. All this time, the owner and his pet were eating raw fish and drinking rainwater, thanks to which they managed to survive. In early April, Tim Shattuck set sail from Mexico to reach French Polynesia. On the journey, the boat was caught up in a storm that damaged electronics. The drifting boat was spotted from a helicopter escorting a fishing trawler. The medic who examined the man said his vital signs were surprisingly normal. Ocean survival expert Mike Tipton said luck was only part of the story. He noted the resourcefulness of the Australian. A key element of survival was the need to secure fresh water, and in that sense, his location was lucky. In addition, having a four-legged friend nearby was a great psychological support. Although both sailor and dog are doing well on their return to the mainland, they will face more in-depth medical examinations.